Hello everyone. In this video, we will explore cognitive approaches to learning, focusing on two key concepts: latent learning and observational learning. These ideas help us to understand how we acquire knowledge and skills in ways that go beyond simple trial and error. So let's start with understanding what is cognitive learning. It is an approach that focuses on the mental processes behind learning. Instead of just looking at behaviors, it emphasizes how we understand, know, and anticipate by using complex thinking skills. This type of learning involves higher mental activities such as memory, problem solving, and language. Essentially, cognitive learning goes beyond simple conditioning and helps us make sense of information in a deeper way. Latent learning, a concept introduced by American psychologist Edward C. Tolman, refers to learning that happens without any immediate sign in behavior. This means someone can learn something, but it doesn't show until there is a reason or reward to demonstrate that knowledge. For example, a person might learn the layout of a new city just by exploring it casually, even without any reward. Later, if the need to find the quickest route to a destination, that hidden learning becomes clear. In humans, latent learning is connected to higher abilities like anticipating future rewards. So, to understand latent learning, Edward Tolman conducted an experiment using rats in a maze. He divided the rats into three groups, group A, B, C. The first group received food rewards every time they successfully navigated the maze. The second group never received any rewards, while the third group received no rewards at the first but started getting food after several days. Okay. So here you can see a graph which shows the average number of errors each group made during the trials. Notice that the first group, which always received rewards, quickly learned the maze and made fewer errors. The second group, without any rewards, made more errors consistently. But the third group, which only started receiving rewards later, suddenly improved and made fewer errors, even though they hadn't shown much learning before. So, this experiment demonstrated latent learning. The rats had learned the maze layout without rewards, but this learning only became clear when motivation was introduced. These findings challenged the dominant ideas about learning at the time. Previously, it was believed that learning only helped through direct reinforcement, meaning a behavior had to be rewarded to be learned. However, Tolman's experiment showed that learning can occur even without reinforcement. The rats that showed latent learning had actually formed what Tolman called a cognitive map, a mental picture of a maze layout. This was surprising because back then scientists thought cognitive processes like mental maps didn't play a role in learning, especially in animals. Tolman's work helped shift this focus toward understanding the role of the mind in learning even in humans. So now let's discuss the second one, which is observational learning. Albert Bandura is a key figure in understanding observational learning. This type of learning happens when an organism changes its behavior by watching others, called models. Bandura showed that classical and both classical and operant conditioning can occur vicariously, meaning we can learn by observing the consequences others experience without directly going through them ourselves. So Bandura's theory also helps explain why physical punishment often leads to more aggressive behavior in children. When children see adults using punishment aggressively, they may imitate that behavior even if the punishment was meant to reduce aggression. To learn through observation, you first need to focus your attention on the right models. Simply watching is not enough, you must remember or retain a mental representation of what the model does. This memory allows you to perform similar actions later or use the information learned. Bandura calls the process of turning these memories into real actions the production processes. This depends on two main factors. First, your physical ability to perform the behavior. If you can't physically do it, just knowing how won't help you much. Second, your ability to monitor and adjust your actions until they match the model's behavior. Finally, motivation is important. You are more likely to imitate a behavior if you expect a reward or see a reason to do so, right? So, this image summarizes the four key components of observational learning: attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation. Each plays a vital role in how we learn by watching others. So here you can see images that shows the famous Bobo doll experiment conducted by Albert Bandura. In this study, children watched adults behaving aggressively towards a Bobo doll, hitting and shouting at it. Later, when given a chance to play with the doll themselves, many children imitated the aggressive actions they had observed. The graph here shows the average aggression scores for children across four groups. It reveals that children who saw aggressive models showed higher levels of imitative aggression compared to those who saw non aggressive or no models. This experiment clearly demonstrated that children learn social behavior, including aggression, through observation. So, in summary, cognitive approaches to learning like latent learning and observational learning highlight the important role of mental processes in how we acquire new knowledge and behaviors. These theories deepen our understanding of learning beyond simple rewards and punishment. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or want to learn more, feel free to reach out.